Give us your take, first of all, on those numbers we saw today. What's going on with the housing industry? It has been extremely strong. We're seeing it come off a little bit. Why?
Yeah, great to be with you, David. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak with your audience today. I did see those numbers this morning. They were down slightly sequentially, but I would point out that they were still up about 9% year over year. And I'd just like to emphasize, I think we are not seeing a demand problem in housing in the country. What we're really seeing is a supply challenge. I think going into the pandemic, housing starts recovered quite nicely. And in fact, in the first quarter of last year, we had touched about 1 million single-family housing starts for the first time since the great financial crisis. And I think then the pandemic hit, and about this time last year, we really started to see the supply challenges as demand rebounded, and we saw a lot of increase in the DIY work as well.
Dave, give us a sense on that supply issue, because we've seen some of your good customers, the home builders, say, we're going to stop selling some houses until we've got them pretty much built because we don't have any inventory at this point. Is that inventory getting drawn down yet?
Sure. I think that's exactly been the challenge. We have seen tight supply really going on 9 to 12 months at this point, driven by significant demand. And I would point out, you might have seen Freddie Mac said earlier this year that they believe the country's about 4 million single-family homes short. But with the demand as strong as it's been, it's really hard to catch that. And with the pandemic, we saw tightness, not just in lumber, but just in about every building materials category you can think of. Windows, doors. I've heard a lot from our customers. They're having trouble and difficulty getting appliances. So I think what you've seen is the supply manifesting itself in the builders saying, let's take a pause on starts. Let's catch up a little bit on the supply side. But the demand is still extremely robust. And I think, just anecdotally, as I talk to our customers and I hear stories all around the country, in just about every market, when a house goes on the market, whether it's a new single family home or an existing home, there's multiple bidders on all these homes, sometimes 10 or 15 bidders. And I think that's driven the price up of the homes. And it's also just underscored how tight the supply is.
Give us a sense of the price of the inputs, because lumber really shot up. Now it's coming back down, maybe even faster than it went up. As you're looking at it right now, are you thinking it's going to continue going down, so you might hold off on buying some because you think the price tomorrow may be lower than the price today?
Well, we're the largest building material supplier in the country, so we buy a lot of lumber, David. And, we saw it peak in early May at about $1,600 per thousand. It is off about 45% since that time, and importantly, in the last couple of weeks, about half of that decline. But I think it's important to understand that lumber is still about 3 times as high as it was over the 10-year average, which is right around $400 per thousand. We're still about $1,000. So I think, again, that just underscores just how tight the supply remains. We've got about 3,000 lumber mills in the country. They're all running extremely hard. And I think with that little tap on the brakes that the home builders have done, they're giving us a chance to catch up on supply, but still operating in a very robust environment.
What about prices on OSB? This is a term actually I just learned in preparing for this, because I used to know, I think we call it a comp board or composite board, which is basically, as I understand it, right, small pieces of wood that are compressed together and are used for sheathing.
Yeah, exactly. Oriented strand board is called. And, I think with some of the storms that we saw in the first quarter, some of the resin supply was impacted significantly, and we've seen a significant supply challenge in OSB. So the prices are up significantly, but more importantly, it's even more difficult to get OSB at the moment than it is lumber. Although I do think over the course of the summer, that will catch up as well.
Well, that was going to be a question. Can you get the OSB you need? And if not, what kind of delays are you seeing?
Yeah, we can get it. We're the largest supplier in the country to the home builders, and so we're able to get it. But our procurement teams are working really hard every day, and it's a challenge. But I do anticipate through the course of the summer here, as the supply chain challenges moderate, as that resin supply becomes more readily available, the supply will catch up again.
And what about more broadly? Are you having to delay some projects because of a shortage of supplies?
We have not. The demand environment in all parts of the country right now are extremely robust. We haven't seen anything slow down. Texas is a large market for us. It continues to grow quite significantly. We're seeing housing starts in the West accelerate, in the Southeast, and all up and down the Mid-Atlantic coast. So supply is tight everywhere, and demand is very robust everywhere.